but I didn't. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna put a calendar. Go with this one.
And I just think that's crazy. I went into the charts, but I started to learn. That's where I got some. That's the beauty of the QVC codes. I'm even when there was one QVC code, I'm like, because one of the things I just told somebody is that every time that I present, I go back and learn about this, learn more about people and having these people. You know, my daughter's because I was this was from the women's suffrage movement. She was actually like one of the first women to ever run for president. Yeah, nobody knows that. She right here. She was actually one of the first women to run for president. And she don't know that she was a part of the women's suffrage movement. And she, I mean, she got raped a lot, and then losing her fortune was a good thing. But she, yeah, it was quite powerful. But a lot of people don't know that and don't hear about that. And you really should. So, and that's what I tell people. It's like we really never have gotten all of history. We're just, that's just, you know, history is told through the eyes of the thinker. Yeah. So we got it wrong. We literally it's wrong in history. All these issues. So it's very sad. Because I tell you, I believe that had we learned history, we will listen to American history. Because when you say you teach American history, now this, you know, it's like to learn about this woman. How many years later? Yeah. And then we're in here like, oh yeah, they're breaking the right. So it's, you know, it's like, how come nobody knows yet? How come this wasn't in our history? How come reach this? So, but yeah, my question exactly. And that's just it. It's like, it's not just, you know, like, I remember I showed him politician. Like, I was kidding this year, and I said, because it's not because learning teamwork. I said, it's not just about us, and then it's like, wow, this is about what's he should be exactly should have been because I learned about this and I started a lot of patients. If you want to hear but because it was so much, so they had to work for me to don't understand each other. You know, you're over you don't even know what happened on your own private actually. You know, how they teach other. And so you just know that he works in this all of it. It's just I guess that's discussion. I mean, like Colorado, that's what my dad was about we're in the office. Big stuff. Okay. And then I like urban Colorado. I mean, I love don't get my town is fun, but it's nice for you. Oh yeah.
Weather's a lot better in Colorado.
Oh yeah, I enjoy it. You know, my friends like Colorado. And
If it snows, it might be 60 degrees Celsius.
and it's beautiful, and I always tell people, I'm like, Colorado really loves schools. I said, I love snow. Like, it's been funny, it's just beautiful. And he's like that rocking chair. It was a Gilligan decoration, of course, that I was like, yeah, you
So
know.
you teach CSU.
No, we, my husband actually, his family was always, and they told me, and so then I'm really glad because I really it's always not so great. It's not as you and then you can never go back. We live there now. I know, we'll go different places. Like, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, really? Yeah, it's getting crowded. What I'm living in the right field. Crowded. And the fields are hot. It wasn't like even when we first got there, like we were in Colorado Springs for one, and we just at college. And even just for like the time we got there until now, it's the oh yeah, but you know, I'm talking so many things about traffic. Like what? That's true. These cars still moving.
I think our oldest son, he was looking at colleges, he was looking at regions and regions. He was also so we went out and looked at Chicago schools, Mountain Oil. So we went there, would have been in September. Perfect day. There, it's like 70 degrees full time, or it's sunny. You get ready to eat. One thing I can tell you. Weather in Chicago is a lot better. You may not live your home. It's like starting tomorrow. It's going to be
Right, and then you're talking about real winter.
oh my gosh, yeah. Wind and everything. He was looking at all of it.
Right on the lake, yeah.
And so,
It's like, no. You have to.
we're having a good coat. And here.
Yeah. Star song. You know those things that they make. Star song. You gotta wear.
Yeah, I learned all those terms. I didn't learn until like 8 years ago.
Well, in there, it could be 20 degrees in Denver. Sometimes it's like light.
Yeah. I tell people all the time, I wear a lot of jackets.
As a my sister, she did that. She has.
And they're driving down, you know, it's like, you know, even in Chicago, you know, buses, trains, walks along, you go to Colorado Springs, those kind of places. They're driving. It's because they're driving down, like, they're not cars. And that's why, so that's the other thing, it's like, not like you're out there having an extra, like, my mom. That's like, well, shit, we don't have a bigger jacket or something, you know, it's like they go out with those full of t-shirts. It's like, I want to put a jacket.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because the buses only run every hour. But I said, Colorado, the bus run every hour. So he learned. I was 16.
Are they all?
They were. Maybe see the work on like this one side. Yeah, the other one is like.
Dialogue, it's a lot of dialogue, but you can have one too.
I can have it. Right. Yeah. Right. But I like.
They had I saw there's a lot of data. So the percentage of parents that got now that's not to say that one has got it, but it's so statistically significant, it's actually way zero sum.
I know, and that's the thing. So for me, I'm like,
Even the CDC don't have teachers that have vaccinated. That's what's the- because any dyslexic. For us.
Like not really sure.
A lot of people, we have a daughter, she came home for Christmas. That she was confused now. Every day, she's 45 minutes each direction. Or encounters stuff. I just think about things you know, it's just and all these guys. That's what I said. They are divided as soon as they get vaccinated. CBS walks everybody go.
Now they have to get all of them in. You know, like they have to get some holes, they have to get all it's like I'm not. Yeah, I just think. My thing is, it always does.
You know what? We don't
Yeah. Are ready to take notes? We're gonna do it. Probably really cute.
I know, that's right.
Yeah, our medicine, see the red projects here now. We're gonna say,
Close.
Oh, wait.
No, no.
Oh, no. They're gone already. They went, all right.
Oh, okay. So you're from Chicago? Okay. You in town for the exhibit? Oh, okay, great. So you're in town for the Super Bowl celebration.
I know, somebody, I had it, I had it looking at the show and somebody wrote, "We can't see you," because all they saw was, no, all they saw was us from down here, down and up. I didn't have it tilted up.
Is that better now?
Yeah. Yeah, I can see
Hello
that.
out there, everybody. Our fans.
So they can see, right, now they can see up higher. They can see up higher. So I'm trying to take it around so they can see. Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. I'm
So
just,
Sitting Bull, have you been to is it the Buckhorn Exchange in Denver?
Oh, yeah.
There's a restaurant called the Buckhorn Exchange. It's downtown Denver. Sitting Bull used to eat.
really?
And they serve games. So you could get buffalo.
And it's called the
The Buckhorn Exchange.
Oh, I have to
And the
go there.
whole place, it's a really unique place because the inside of it is just lined with heads of, deer and antelope and
Okay.
buffalo and all.
I
And
gotta
that's
write that down.
what they serve is they'll serve rattlesnake and stuff. But there's pictures
Really?
of Sitting Bull, and he actually met with. He had I don't know if they met there and signed some kind of treaty or something, but
Oh, okay.
he actually had eaten there.
Oh, I'm gonna write
And
that
him
down.
and Buffalo Bill.
Okay.
had
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Buckhorn Exchange.
Buckhorn Exchange, yeah, and it's a pretty obscure place, but it's right downtown. It's just a little south of downtown.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna go and check that. I'm gonna check it out. Because they eat a lot of meat and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Fun stuff. Well, let's get
Well, it does like the buffalo, and you get that snake.
And those, like, if you see some of those that you actually like, I have friends. Arvetta, this is Arvetta, guys.
Doing like a web post while
Yeah.
all of this is going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not moving it around enough. It's just sitting around.
Oh, there's some people that are actually want to see the exhibit, and you're not doing a good job. Is that what
I'm not. I don't know how much they want to see the exhibit. I've just been sort of putting it around so people can see a
all
little
of your
bit.
pieces are beautiful.
Thank you, Arvetta.
Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. I love the little QVC thing. That was, because I would have to normally tell people about the different people, and I don't have to do
And now everybody just comes
Just
in.
take your little camera and
Yeah.
take you right to Wikipedia. You can't beat it. Yeah, I love that. Look at Richard over there. He rarely ever uses his camera.
That's because he sees it from beginning to
I
end.
know. He's over there with his little camera out. I'm surprised to see him. He is out.
To get some education.
I know he gets some education. See, I'm trying to go around with it. You can see the exhibit, guys.
It's like that's
I'm doing a slow rotation.
everything is double-sided outside. Are you talking?
Yep.
Oh, exactly.
Nothing.
Oh, you just
I'm just panning the exhibit. It's just gonna be right here, so you won't be able to. If you only see it from right here, that's it.
Are you able to do some close-ups?
No, because I'm gonna do a talking.
Oh, aren't you supposed to be talking and stuff?
Not 7 yet.
Oh, you have
Come on, Arvetta, give me a break. Give me a break. I gotta get Are you all like I know. I appreciate it. I sure got it.
Yeah.
I know. So I'm gonna put this right here. Put this over here. Uh-huh.
What is the vision behind it? Or what inspired you to do it?
Well, actually, I'm going to be talking about it.
Oh,
Sharing that.
don't want to jump.
Okay.
It's intriguing, no, that's what I'm asking.
Thank you.
And I like to see how can we get to do something.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I like.
Thank you. Thank you. But I'm going to be sharing some information about it in just a minute.
Really cool.
Yes.
I'm excited to hear it.
I'm just gonna set up by where you're talking.
Okay.
You're gonna be like kind of.
I'm going to more than likely be right in here. So
This will be great.
I love that little thing.
It records audio.
Okay.
So if the audio sucks on my camera, we'll use this
I
one.
think that's on most of our cameras.
It's actually not too bad on my camera, but I don't know. We'll see.
This is better.
We have a nice little crowd for you.
I know. I see that. A what?
Card reader.
I don't have my card reader now. Why? Who's fine?
Or better.
Tell her better than pay cash. What's she trying to buy? Tell her to do it in PayPal. Or better.
So start cruising.
This is the next time. The one day.
Shake hands? Yeah, we can shake hands. That felt normal, shaking hands. Yeah, I have no problem. I was more confused with the shaking of the hands. Yeah, that's fun. I shake hands all the time. No, I don't care. I would have done a hug. I would have done a hug. That's I went to art school. Station. Yes, just a little bit. Just a smidgen. Nice to see you.
No. Could I have everyone's attention, please, really quickly? Hey, we're going to go ahead and get the artist talk started. And so, you can hear me better without my mask, so I'll just stand back here. But we set up a few seats. It's not enough for everyone, but We're always happy to grab seats if they run out. Please feel free to kind of rearrange them per your groupings to be as distant as you want. Folks, you're so invited to sit on these stools along the windows or just to kind of stand. So, yeah, there's a few of us here with name tags tonight. I'm Kelly Cruz. I'm the Associate Director of the 4-Chapter Gallery. Welcome, and thank you so much for coming out tonight. This is Leanne Dahl. She's the director. And then Margaret Johnsey back there, I want you to raise your hands. If you need anything tonight or a chair or anything, just tap one of us on the shoulder. So welcome and thank you for coming out to see Louise's beautiful work. I just want to take care of a couple quick housekeeping things before we get started. So you can hear our space is pretty live. So Louise is not going to be mic'd when she's talking. So if you can keep talking as much as possible to a minimum while she's talking, it'll make it easier for us to hear her. She's live streaming the event to her Facebook page too, so that'll help with that. Yay, technology. And then if you want to move around quietly and look at the work while she's talking, we invite that. You don't have to feel like you're just totally stuck where you're standing. Or if you need to use the restroom, we have 2 restrooms over here. And then I just want to say quickly that if you're here tonight and you love this work that Louise is doing and you want someone else you know to see this exhibit, it's going to be open tomorrow morning. We have an educational event at 10:30 tomorrow morning from 10:30 to noon. Louise is going to talk even more about the work and about the stories behind the work. We have asked people to register, but you don't have to. You can just show up if you think that you know someone you'd like to bring along. And we also have 4 more dates in February where we're opening the gallery for 2 hours for people to just come through and see the work. And you just have to go to our website to find those dates. And we have business cards right over here on this little marble table. So you can find our website and any information there. But it is also just 4chapter.gallery, not .com, .gallery. So I'm going to let Leanne Dahl introduce our wonderful artist.
Also, if you are connected to a educational facility and you want to bring a class in, we would love that. I teach high school art as well, and I actually offered extra credit to my students if they come tomorrow. I told them I'd make it well worth their grade if they came tomorrow. Because this show, so Louise and I actually physically just met today, but you know, you're on Zoom so much these days that you feel like you've met the person face to face. But I was introduced to Louise early summer of 2020 by a mutual friend of ours in Colorado, and she told me, I think you will want to talk to Louise Cutler about maybe showing in your gallery. So Louise and I had a conversation, began talking about her work. Her work she does daily is sculptural and painting, and that's sculpture and ceramics is my background. So when I first saw her website, I was like, oh my gosh, I love her work. Then she helped me delve a little deeper into her website where she had bodies of work where she had created around themes. And one of our real desires in our gallery is to have shows that create space for conversation around subjects that are challenging in our city and in our country, yet create a space where we can have a dialogue that is respectful. And so as Louise and I began talking about this show, I just said, oh, we would love to have this show in our space. And so Louise is a new friend for me in the last year, and I got to meet her husband and her 2 boys today, and yes, they're with us. And I had a real fun time with them at lunch, and so I just am excited to hear from her. She was very gracious this past week and spoke to I do a Wednesday artist talk for my kids on Zoom, my art, and she was our artist, visiting artist, and so I've gotten to hear Louise speak to my kids, talk to us about the show, and then even as Kelly and I and Margaret were hanging the show, of course, engaged with the show. It's powerful in my mind. I think it's beautiful. I know that's really strange to say. It's beautiful and powerful and painful all together. And I look forward to hearing Louise speak. She's originally from Chicago, but both her and her husband. And she's been in Colorado for a while, and she's in a town I dearly love, Fort Collins, Colorado. Beautiful place to live. And so, yeah, Louise, come on up and talk with us.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Leanne. Like Leanne said, it's interesting working with people via Zoom, and I feel like I've had to do that for the entire 2020. I've met some amazing people, and it's all via Zoom. And some people I have yet to meet, but we have built some pretty powerful relationships over the time. And Leanne and Kelly actually have been a part of that. And I remember when Leanne contacted me the first time, and I was just really excited because I do love my other work is actually quite beautiful. So if you do get a chance to, you could just go to my website and see it at louisecutlerstudios.com. But when Leanne and I were talking with all of the things that were going on in the world today, I said, check out my Where's the Watching exhibit. And then I don't know if I sent you the video. I know I sent it to Kelly and I sent them the video and they saw it. And then I told her to, she went to my page and it's because it's under my artist collection and exhibitions. And she went and she says, yes, I want that exhibit. And I thought this was the exhibit that should be here right now. That particular exhibit was actually birthed out of another exhibit. God normally gives me exhibitions probably between 3 to 4 years. When I'm doing my regular work, I'll get these social exhibitions because I'm not big into social events and things like that. I won't say that I'm big into watching the news, but when God gives me exhibits like this, I create them and I'm totally led by what it is He's showing me. And so this particular exhibit was actually birthed out of the Screams of the Black Man exhibit that I had did for my son years ago when he went off to college. And there was one particular image, it's a very large piece that I did with people from the civil rights movement. I went through and just began to pull all of these different images from the civil rights movement and I decoupaged them onto this huge piece of canvas and I wrote this poem that went along with it. And when I did that, there was this one piece, there was this one image and it was of PvP. And the only thing I had done on that one was just remove his eyes, just remove it, and so you could just see his eyes. And for 3 years, that image just kept coming back to me over and over a 3-year period. Because I was like, okay, I'm done with this. I'm done with this exhibit. And we showed it, and it was a great exhibit. We had a lot of fun with it. Had a lot of other different elements to it that you don't see in this particular exhibit. And then after that, 3 years later, God was still putting that image in my mind. So I'm like, okay, obviously I'm supposed to do something with this. What is it? And so then I went back into doing more research, and this is what you see that came out of that research is what he led me to was a great cloud of witnesses that are part of the Bible. If you go through the Bible, the great cloud of witnesses, which is Isaac, Jacob, the struggles that they went through, but they kept the faith. They still moved on. They still pushed on. They still did those things. And so what I created here is that same. This is your great cloud of witnesses. These people who have gone through struggles, who have fought the good fight, who has done all of those things, and they're sitting here and saying, they're watching and they're saying, okay, what next? I left it in your hands. What are you doing? Where are you moving it? Where are you taking it? Where's this journey going? So before I go any further, I'm going to have Philip come up, and he's actually going to read a poem that I had written. So Philip, come. I know my kids are like, Mom, we haven't do it, so I'm going to have him come up, and he's going to read one of the poems because normally when I create this kind of body of work, I also create poems that go along with it, and so sometimes they come with the body of work, and sometimes they'll come a little after. I do not rush any of my work. I let it flow, and I let it take whatever time it's going to take. So even though God may give me an exhibit in a certain year, it still may not be completed for several years down the road. It's just he initiates it, and then I start creating it. One of the things that I tell people about this exhibit, I don't feel like it's done. This exhibit will continue to grow because there's several different elements to it, and I'll go over those different elements as I begin to talk to you. But I wanted him to share one of the poems before we got started. So. Oh, right.
All right. What makes a man not a man? When he is seen through the eyes of another man. A man whose thoughts and intentions have made him better. Through the eyes of hate, the eyes of envy, the eyes of greed, the eyes of self-righteousness, the eyes of pride. What makes a man not a man? Only another man. I was once a man, but no longer here. I was once king of my land, but no longer here. I was once a leader of nations, but no longer here. I was once a warrior, but no longer here. I was once a child who played and laughed, but no longer here. I was once my own master, no longer here. I was once told I could be anything, but no longer here. I was once ruler of nations, but no longer here. I was once my father's son, but no longer here. No longer here, no longer here. I am no longer here.
I'm gonna sit. I wore these heels. And even though I enjoy wearing heels because they're cute, that's the only reason I wear it. So, like I said, I like writing poems, and I allow the poems to take their own shape and take their own form. And so, actually, when that particular poem came, and it talked about I was once a man, but no longer here. And I was once a king of nations, but no longer here. It was dealing with the perception of how Black and African Americans feel in a country where they feel as if they're not allowed to be themselves or who they are, and to be able to express who they are. And so that's basically where that comes from, is the struggles that we have as Black and African Americans here in America. And we have seen that a lot this year. It has become very apparent of the struggles and what has been going on in our society. And what I really loved about 2020 is it became the year of clarity. I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, 2020 is awful. But 2020 was not awful, because 2020 actually opened everyone's eyes. And if you think about 2020 vision, what does it do? It gives you clarity. So I believe God purposely gave all of us clarity. And so now that we have this clarity, what will you do with it? What will you do with your eye-opening experiences that you had this year? Because that's basically what we all had. And that's basically what this exhibit is about, is opening your eyes to the truth of what's going on around you. This is not, one of the things I tell people, this is not a guilt exhibit. I don't ever want people to feel guilty. I know you like white guilt, okay? This is not what that is. This is not a guilt trip. And so I don't ever want anyone to feel that way, because this is a reality check. That's what this is. Where are you going to go after this?
Where do you stand when you've heard and you've learned what is really going on in our country? One of the things that I've experienced while showing this exhibit in different places is the dialogue I've been having. I felt that all my life we've been cheated of our education, because when I did my research on a lot of these people, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. Some of the stuff that I've learned. And I'm hoping you guys have been going around with your cameras and reading these QVCs. I'm grateful to Kelly for actually doing that, making this available so that you can, because normally I literally have to go around with people to tell them who these people are. And they're astounded by the fact that, how do I not know them? One of the questions I would often ask is, how many of these people can you name? And now mind you, it's like, I'm just looking at eyes here. I can't name, and so I would get people who are like, I can't name probably hardly any. Not even, it's like we have Black History Month, but literally, how many people in this room actually understood Black History Month and learned something, or learned of anybody from Black History Month? I mean, how many of you know Malcolm X? How many? Malcolm X? Malcolm X. Sure. Right. Martin Luther King. Right. But then tell me someone else. Rosa Parks. Coretta. But then when you start digging deeper at the Huey P. Newtons, the Hamptons, then it's like, who are they? The Shirley, the Richards. Then it's almost like drawing a blank. How many of you knew that there was another congresswoman that ran many, many moons ago during the women's suffrage movement? She ran for president of the United States. A handful. Long before the Hillarys and the, what's her name, yeah. Wait, not Condoleezza, right. Forgive me. But like I said, I don't do a lot of things. I don't. So, but before these people have even done anything, there's a whole history of men and women that have sacrificed their life, that have been a part of the struggle long before. And so when I showed this exhibit in Fort Collins in June of 2020, so many young people, now mind you, Fort Collins is not full of Black people, okay? So who am I talking to? White people coming to me, telling me, I just learned about the Tulsa race riots. I just learned about Black Wall Street. Just learned about it. So then I realized, it dawned on me, we weren't the only ones robbed of our history. I wasn't just, because we went through like, no, they don't teach Black history. We've been robbed. They give us this month. And who do we learn about in that month? Martin Luther King. I mean, honestly, you don't really learn about Malcolm X. That's something you have to find out on your own, because they're not trying to show you Malcolm X. Why? It's power. Okay? They're not trying to give you that kind of image. But what I'm saying is, these are things that we had to study on our own. So if you didn't, guess what? You've been cheated. You've been robbed. You've been stolen from. And that's all of us. I learned about Wounded Knee 2 years ago. 2 years ago. That's a Native American. The people that were here long before America was America. How am I just learning about Wounded Knee? My cowboy Indian story started on TV. Watching, cowboys and Indians, those tales. So when I sat there with those young people that were practically trying to me over the summer, saying, how could this happen? I feel so robbed. These were two young white guys standing in front of me saying, we've been cheated.
And I said, you're right. A whole entire nation. One of the things my husband told me years ago was, history is told through the eyes of the victor. Told through the eyes of the victor, which means that it's not always true. There's lies that have been. I'm not saying it's all lies. There's just been some omissions of the story. And those are the things that we have to learn how to fill in ourselves. But a lot of times growing up, we're kids. So we're indelible. So when that happens as children, what do we learn? We watch television. And what do we learn? We learn what we see on TV. So I learned that Indians were bad. Why? Because I watched all the Westerns. I was a huge Western fan. I love it. So Indians were going around shooting all those little people on the plane. Davy Crockett, he was a friend to them, but that's what was going on. So you read it, you watch that kind of stuff, and then as a kid, you pick it up. Same thing. You watch enough Little Rascals and all of that kind of stuff. Watch Black people being slaves and servants and all of these things. So what happens? You start believing it. You start seeing people as less than who they are, less than who God created them to be. So we have literally been learning all of this stuff, being programmed, because that's what it is. We've been programmed to think, to see, to feel. When if we had just been taught history, real American history, true American history, because right now we have American history, Black history, all of this kind of stuff, but the bottom line is we have never, ever learned true American history. Why? Because true American history encompasses every single one of us. It encompasses every single nationality, every single person, every sex, every gender, everything. True American history encompasses all of that, not the watered down versions that we have right now. So when I say, what are you going to do? Because these people on these walls, they have fought the good fight. They've died in the struggle because they wanted something more. They had a vision. They believed in something. And so now it's like, okay, they passed the torch. So when I say, hey, what are we going to do? First thing I think about is somebody needs to change the way history has been written and how it's taught in schools. How it's taught in schools. Because that is a huge, huge element to it. Because if we're teaching American history, then we should teach the whole thing and not leave anything out. Because I believe that had this been the case, racism would not be as prevalent in our world today. Because people would understand, oh wow, this actually happened. One of the things that I like, and I brought this over because I wanted to read it. This is one of the things that W.E.B. wrote. He said, one is astonished in the study of history at the recurrence of the idea that evil must be forgotten, distorted, skimmed over. We must not remember that Daniel Webster got drunk, but only that he was a splendid constitutional lawyer. We must not forget that George Washington was a slave owner. And simply remember the things we regard as credible and inspiring. The difficulty, of course, with this philosophy is that history loses its value as an incentive, an example. It paints perfect men and noble nations, but it does not tell the truth. It does not tell the truth. And when I read that, I had to add that to this exhibit because there's so much truth to it. There's so much truth to it because there's nothing wrong with people being imperfect. I don't have a problem with imperfection. I do have a problem with lying. I do have a problem with masking over. Because had we known these things, then we could say, oh, okay, you're not perfect, but none of us are. But we haven't been given the option. We weren't given the option of, it's like, oh, no, don't tell them that. Because then they'll look at it a different way. But we want to look at things a different way. So now this is our time to say, hey, I want to know the truth. I want to know about these people. I'm not saying I want to know about them so I can be like, I'm done with them. I want to know the whole truth. One of my friends, he said, instead of tearing down monuments, tell the rest of the story. Tell the rest of the story. Don't tear down things. Because if you forget the past, you're apt to repeat it. So don't tear down the story. Just complete the story. Tear down the lies that everyone's seeing. That's the important part. So when you see people and they're like tearing down stuff, like this year people were tearing down monuments. Tell the rest of the story. Add the rest of the story to it. Why? Because then we can get a complete history. We can get the complete story. Because I want to know the complete story. Don't ban books. Tell the rest of the story. Don't demolish things. Just add the rest of the story to it. That's what we want to see. So, I'm not going to keep you guys long, but I'll tell you about some of the other exhibits because I just focused on one. So that was, when God gave me that part of the exhibit, that was pretty powerful for me. But then he opened the door, 2 doors. What you see here in the center, those are the doors. And I look at doors as awakening. And these particular doors tell stories. So you have one door in this space, it's slavery. The other one is the Holocaust. You have the potato famine. And one of the most powerful doors is the door that you see over in the corner with the crosses. Because I've seen people, they'll say, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. When you see all of those crosses, you go to the cemetery, you see all these beautiful crosses in a row. It's very artistic and poetic. But those crosses represent lives. They represent lives. And when God first gave me that particular door, I didn't understand it. I just created it. I don't always understand what I create. And I understand the slavery. Been there, done that, got it. But it's powerful because it's a door that you have to walk through. It's not a door that you can just omit out of your life because that was a part of American history. That was a part of our history. So that door has to be there. The Holocaust door, it has to be there. The door that I have on this side, the potato famine, it has to be there. Why? Because for me, those are man inhumanities to man and should never, ever be forgotten. And that's why these doors hang here as a reminder for us. Let's not repeat these actions. Let's not forget these actions. These are doors we walk through daily so we don't forget. And the door that's over there with those crosses, and as beautiful as those crosses look as they line that ground, that's what they signify. It's trying to think about it. I can't even get that word right, so we're gonna overlook it. We'll omit that one. That's what that represents, is the lives that were lost, the many lives that were lost in war. And I don't ever want to forget that. And I don't ever want us to forget what war represents in our country. Every time that there is a war, that's what it looks like. Not the beautiful crosses,
that line the cemetery, but the blood stains that are on those crosses that you don't see, because that's what it is. That's what they represent. The potato famine, a lot of people don't get the potato famine or have understood it. But a lot of Irish people lost their lives. For what? Because they were saw as less than, because they were inhuman. Because we want to look at, it's like, yeah, slavery was awful. But there is so many others who have lost their lives for the same reasons. Because they were saw as less than. So never forget, when you walk through this room and you see these faces, they're all watching. They're the great cloud of witnesses saying, hey, what's your move? What are you doing? Are you perpetuating what's going on? Or are you doing something about it? Are you standing for something different? What are you doing? Because see, a lot of times we feel like, I'm just standing still. I'm chilling. And they're like, okay, then nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to ever. So I want you guys to walk through, read the stories, learn about different people that are one. Join in the struggle. And I'm not saying it's like I'm gonna get out there with my picket sign and I'm gonna go throw something. No. There's a lot of ways to join the struggle. And you don't have to protest and throw things and tear up stuff and shout at people. Your daily life, in your daily life, you can make changes. How you view people. When you sit next to somebody, being kind. I remember one time I was at a birthday party and I had gone to several and I knew people, I knew all the people. And one day I was going over to sit in a chair and one of the little ladies decided to grab her purse because I was going to sit next to her. And then it dawned on her that she knew me and I saw it all in her face. All in her face. And I was like, it's okay. It's okay. Those kind of little actions, those kind of things. By not reading books before you open them. Those kind of things. By not stereotyping people. By not stereotyping black people. Not stereotyping white people. Because we have stereotypes about you too. It's true. But not doing that. And taking people for who they are. And seeing them as God would see. Now, do I got it all together? No, I still look at people and be like, But I'm working on it. I'm working on it. That's all I ask. Is that we all work on it. We were shown something in 2020. We were shown who we are. And I'm talking about all of us. A lot was revealed to us in 2020. And now it's time for us to take account of that. And say, is this where I want to go? Is this what I want to see? Is this where I want to be? Is this what? Or can I change this? Little by little. We all can add, and we all can make a difference. So, what kind of questions you got?
I actually was kind of curious as to your series. It's all very similar with the eyes, and then this section over here. Is there a difference what you're trying to do with the full picture?
Okay, so this one over here, this actually deals with the you can't not erase us. And I brought that particular collection into it because
when they were trying to, and I think I did this particular series a little while ago because they were, I know at one point they were like, oh, let's get rid of the Tom Sawyers and all those kind of stuff because it says nigger in it. And I'm one of those people. It is a period piece. Some literature is just period pieces. So if you get rid of period pieces, then where do you go from there? What's next? What else are you going to get rid of? Somebody was saying, oh, they want to get rid of Gone with the Wind. It was a period movie. It depicted the time in a period. It wasn't written today. So why would you get rid of it when that's what was happening down in that time? So you don't get rid of things because today it's offensive. It still is depicting a period in history where that's exactly what they said. So if you want to erase all of that, then it's what? It's just another lie. It's just another cover up. It's just another, oh, we want to tell the story differently. That's unacceptable. And you should, anytime you're in a school and they're like, oh, look, we want to eliminate these kind of books. You say, no, I want my kids to know the truth. I want my kids to know that this is what it was like during this time. This is what was said. We have to educate our children, not eliminate history from them. So that's what these pieces represent. Sitting Bull, it was a sacrifice. He had a spirit. What he did, that's what it's about. You can't eliminate that. You can't erase who he was. A lot of people don't know Maximilian. He gave his life for a Jew in a concentration camp. People don't know that. But you can't erase what he did. But you can learn about it. How? By studying it. But if it's erased, because what we're failing to realize is if they start erasing everything now, generations later will never even know that it happened. And that's what people aren't seeing. Generations later will never even know that these things happen. I mean, think about the things that you don't know that's happened in the world. Tons. Why? Because they've erased them. And now we're going back and we're finding them. I was just sharing with somebody, I said, I had no idea that woman ran for president. Why? Because it was during a time where she's a woman. You can't do that. So we don't want anybody to ever know that there was a woman who said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to stand up and I'm going to do this no matter what criticism, what it takes. And so what did they do? They crushed her. And then they hid it. Why? So no other woman would do it. So my challenge to you is dig up your history. Find it. Crawl up under a rock and dig it up. There's so much more that we don't know. So.
I think we probably have time for a couple more questions if anyone has them. Otherwise,
That just means I've covered everything.
But Louise is of course going to be here until 9 o'clock, so you can find her and ask her.
You can find me and ask me your question. I'll be
But
wandering around here.
I want to say thank you all so much for coming out tonight. I mean, what a great time getting to listen to you speak. Louise, thank you so much for your beautiful work and your words. We are just so honored to have your work. We have until the end of February. Some of you came in late, so I'll just say this show's going to be here and open 4 more dates in February. And just you go to our website, our business card is right here around the corner on the table. You can find out what those dates are.
And also, she has prints for sale.
Yes, I was about to say that. Perfect. Yeah. So Louise has some prints. The originals are for sale, of course. But she also has prints. She also has prints for sale over here in the corner. $35. for the prints, to take home with you, to sign. And if you should they go to your husband? Who should you direct them to?
Did my boys disappear? Oh, there they are.
These two fine-looking young gentlemen will handle that for you if you're interested in the print. But thank you again so much for coming out. Thank
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you guys for coming. I'm glad you were able to stay.
Yeah.
Well, I have it. I actually streamed it live on my YouTube channel. So this video, they'll be able to Yeah. And that's what happened. And that's why I'm like, don't fall into that trap.
Oh my God, they'll just wipe out.
They'll wipe out.
God bless you. All right.
Thank you.
Are you working now? Getting fast. I'm very my friends. I'm trying to figure out almost but I only have right. Now and then and I agree with everything.
Right. Exactly.
Really glad
Thank you so much. I'm glad you were able to.
I'm gonna take a picture of that. That's yeah.
I'm getting ready to go.
Your DVR better.
Discussing the schedule.
What time is
Okay.
what time do things start?
Tomorrow I'm talking to move this over. Tomorrow I'm talking to families. So that starts at 10:30. So it goes from 10 to 12. Not till yeah, Arvetta, it's all you. Oh, let me just see.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you were able to come by.
I love how God is doing this in your life. My artist daughter is not to that point in her life. I love that you are going to be an influencer now.
Thank you.
She graduates this year and is going to be an artist. Lost artist right now, but you know.
She's an artist. She was an artist the day she was born.
Yeah, she was born to be an artist. So, yeah, so thank you for
I'm glad you were able to come by.
No.
You're on Facebook?
No.
What, Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay. Send me follow me on Instagram. I'll follow you.
See?
Louise Cutler.
I love it. I love it.
Absolutely profound. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
No, it'll be like the
Oh, Philip? Yeah, he's a driving car person. He likes driving. Yeah, he does. Well, not right now because he had a crash. But yeah, usually he has.
Oh, yeah, that not their fault.
Yeah, lots of bitter tears.
So I guess tomorrow early after.
I guess so, yeah.
Oh, he was thinking
That's the way to do it. Just,
so where you all staying?
Marriott? We're at a Marriott.
It's the downtown area.
I'll send it to you. I'll email everything.
Construction.
Oh, okay.
Really hard to figure out.
It's weird.
Oh, it's
They've got a like a way in, but it's like this.
Yeah, you don't get much space, that's for sure.
But I was telling Richard that this place called Q. They have temporary. By the time they have
Well, everything has to for some barbecue tomorrow at some point. Yeah, we got barbecue.
Oh, you already planning on it?
No, she said they were taking us to some barbecue tomorrow.
Oh, what was that? Oh, okay. So they already have something. Oh, it's not me. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Then I guess I can just hang out with y'all. Yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't. She was talking to
And it was a conversation.
well, you were just in the back. I know. Let me find out. Yeah, I'll check it out.
My kids.
I don't know what's happening.
Sorry.
Which one did she get? That one. You wanted the one in the center? Yeah. Yeah, she should be up there, Philip.
Alrighty, cool.
You should find her. That's Ellen.
Behind
There's only one.
It might be. I got it.
I think that's it.
Yeah, it's on there. He might have it. It might be. It's up there. There's Amy. I told her better to come this summer, but she all busy. So we'll probably see our better for Christmas.
Get out of the bird. Take you up and down.
She'll come.
Autograph.
That was fun. Well, I'm doing, I think the family's coming up this year.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, it's live. They were like, I did it last year, with the COVID. And they were like, Louis, do it one more time, do it again. I was like, it's going to be every 2 years. They were like, no, do it. So I'm doing it again.
Oh, wow.
But you'll be in a way.
It's all right.
You'll be in
It's okay. Don't feel like,
Too late. Too late. Always, always, always.
Thank you for imparting such wisdom.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for being a part of it.
I remember I learned about it so when I was 13. By accident. And I was so angry because I never learned about it.
Yep.
To make sure it was true. And I thought, what?
We're not being taught. Yeah.
But I wanted to ask also just one personal note. So when did you begin your art career?
Oh gosh, I was always a kid. I grew a lot when I was a kid, and so I have literally been an artist since I was a child. Literally, and coming more into the awareness when I became an adult. But I was in all like the studio art programs and stuff in high school and grade school, so did a lot of that. So. Oh, you got some nice ones.
Yeah.
We were all like,
You did that? Yeah. I love the fact that they did the QVCs. I was like, this is fantastic. Yeah, I told myself, for now on, that's what I'm doing.
yeah,
I'm doing
so
QVCs from
good.
now on.
It's great.
So,
That's what walking through the first time I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to introduce people.
yeah.
Even by their names.
Exactly. And that's the whole thing. And that's why we talk about it. We wanted to add this whole educational element to it. And I'm so glad we did. I'm so glad.
Yeah, I think you should all do the university.
Oh, yeah. I'm hoping to get it.
Yeah. Well,
Did you ever go back to Chicago and do so?
I do some shows in Chicago, but they're different. They're different shows. But yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm gonna submit it for another. There's been a couple of places that I've submitted it for Chicago. I would like to take it.
I just went there for the first time this past few months ago and I loved it.
Oh, Chicago's fun.
It is fun.
and it's not winter.
Exactly. Well,
Exactly. No, I would get people all the time, and they're like, "Ooh, please, when should I go to Chicago?" I was like, "Not in the winter."
Anytime
no,
like,
it was like the most perfect 70-degree weather.
Yeah.
They had just opened the nice so no one was there, and we're like, I could live here, and then everyone's like, no, it's cold and busy.
Yeah, it does. But thank you guys for coming. Thank you for coming. You, I'm expecting to.
I will remind
follow. Yeah. So it's just Louise Cutler student.
Thank you so much.
Then I'll follow your work.
That's
Okay. I'm showing off the exhibit. Oh, you're fine. Move that out of your way.
We have to get a photo with you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I know, I got in there, I'm like, oh, wow.
I think that's
That's the one time.
yeah.
Because I was but you know, I got I'm gonna ask you something. I'm listening tonight. I'm listening to the bar.
Oh,
Bye, you guys. Nice here.
thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Have a good night.
Or do you find them Okay.
And she surprised me with that. You're also.
Right. Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I thought I was like, you guys don't let me, I gotta do this all the time. I'm just gonna take the one right here.
Oh, I remember my whole class. Not right now. And my school, so that I can do all kinds of
I got nervous and forgot what I was doing. I was Yeah, too. Like, I think I looked at the website because I don't know if you're right. Well, yeah, just fingerprints. Thank you. Yes, sir. I was like, so.
Coffee, are you going to Mars?
Tomorrow?
Why am I not?
Oh, for tomorrow? I'm a teacher. I don't have that teacher.
She didn't have any, but I also
People are, you show up from
Well, when I got the invite, I looked on the website. But it looks so much way better live. If somebody says, "Oh, I see it online," oh, yeah. Yeah. She's the well, so I do about her whole situation. The company through the World's Fair and Dallas to be there. She was like a very prominent black female model at the time. Well, but now I'm pretty sure they changed a lot of to fit her.
Yes. See, and that's the problem.
Yeah,
that's why I don't like that. I don't like when they start changing because they're fitting it into today. And it's like, it's not meant to be.
You know, years ago, you said, like you said, I can feel it. Years ago, say, about just healing and personal psychologist. I sat under his teaching, I mean, 25 years ago. And I remember him saying, people are not all good. People are good and bad.
Right.
They're mixture of both. And I feel like in the last year, people have just been wiped out anybody that has a little bit bad. And it's like, you can't do that because what if they start to hold that to you have it in you too.
Right. And that's the whole thing. Well, that's one of the things that Philip was, I see my son was talking about. People are inherently good or inherently evil, and they can't just go around taking that out. The bad part. It's like, oh, we're just going to show this part. And that's why I really like that statement by Dubois, because it's like, yeah, okay, they had good stuff, but don't erase the fact that they did bad stuff. Because then it's like, oh, these are perfect people.
Well, the history or
Okay, exactly. I have one. I already have a theory. I want to. And I just read a lot, watched a lot of films, and it blows my mind that these German soldiers, these SS officers who worked at these concentration camps, could go home and have loving have families and children. And I was just like, how is that possible? Yes, but it's such a complexity. So much. I got it. To be able to love
Yeah, and that's because they devalue people. Right, they thought what they were doing was good, and they devalue that
Category where like educated, like they were educated, that they weren't like or actually.
And just like I said, when I grew up watching westerns, all that kind of stuff, so really need a program.
Yeah.
Program to a certain way, and I think it's intentional.
Yeah,
There's unfortunately, I can't remember neither one of the names. It was I learned this last year. The first black male missionary to go. So he single-handedly pretty much was the one that spread the gospel. It was like 15,000 people in Jamaica. Real cool. And then the first black missionary that went to Hawaii, she established churches and schools. Yeah, so and all this was generated because of the Civil War. And that's where, like, so when she was sent out, unfortunately, because of the bylaws they weren't able to send missionaries, but they helped them create their own mission organization. So that they could do, they found a loophole that existed because they were people to help the gospel, even though they honored their own bylaws. They shrunk
No, you don't. That's what I love whenever I learn from the people that come to these things.
I wish this was like everybody could see this like that. Like, no, seriously, it's such a good setting. There was pretty and you could even sell it. I mean, this is the type of stuff that I think doesn't say about it, you know, and for them to have to see it, and even then, when they see it, they don't still believe it. Oh, you need to fact check. This is good. Yeah, I'm so glad like he's using art. We consider it the secret weapon.
I think so. I do. I think so. It's like, because it is. It's doing art. I'm just gonna put that there. Actually,
That's true.
people don't expect it, and that's the beauty of this, and that's what I enjoy about it, because it's, you know, it's what God gave me to do. And I'm just a vessel.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you guys were able to come out and just be a part of it.
You're the only one.
Oh,
yeah, we walked around.
Yeah, she was saying she was hoping there was more, but
Yeah, we were gonna, we designed like there, but something like the seminar Tuesday, so we're gonna go over that.
And there's arts in a gallery around the corner. How do you look at it?
well, thanks for coming by.
Making the trip. But you know, the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl, so you're like,
there you go. I'm the add extra. Exactly. All right. Thank you. You too. Take care. Thank you. All right. I'm going to sign out. I will see you guys. Bye. I'm signing off.